Hey folks, gonna get started here with the third match of the night from January 16th. This is Julian, skill level 4. My bad, it's just politics. Going up against Drew, skill level 3 from Pool Party. Gonna get going with the lag. Once again, trying that AI generated text for the sound around the pool table. It's doing okay. It's just really hard for it to pick up a lot of stuff due to the music level at Mad Hippo. Drew wins the lag on that one. So Drew really throws his whole body into his break. You see both, right? You see folks who really throw themselves into their break, and you see folks who just kind of nothing but the arm. I'm one of those that does nothing but move my arm in order to break. People talk about how the break is one of the most important shots in your game. And when you throw yourself into it, you lose. I feel like you lose control of what you're doing, right? You know, you're swinging both arms, your whole body's moving. Can you be in control with that kind of a break? I mean, I figure there are folks out there who can, of course. You see pros who, have a lot of body movement during your break, and they're very much in control of their break. But at the amateur level, we're barely in control of most of our shots. You talk about trying to be in control of the break. I don't know. Put some comments on that one. I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks about, what kind of control you might have on the break, depending on your style. If you're somebody who really throws yourself into every break and you have a very controlled break and you know exactly how things are going to go every time, let me know. I mean, it doesn't work for me. Drew's he's a skill level 3. He is a really good shot, though. He has a tendency to not really think about where the cue ball is going to go every time, which is why he remains a skill level 3. I think more than anything, if he got to the point where he was really planning out every shot and thinking about where his cue ball was going to go every time, he'd go up from being a 3 pretty quickly. Julian is really new to playing pool. He's actually only been playing on teams for a couple of sessions now. Really picks things up quickly. So he's gotten up to a 4. He really deserves to be up to a 4 because he listens, he learns, he takes instruction. He does have a lot of those tendencies that you see in a younger, newer APA player, in which you jump up, you move around really quickly, you don't take as much time on the shot, but he's learning so fast that he gets all of these things under control, and he's gonna just keep climbing up. A lot of potential. All right. Bring Drew back to the table here. Both players having a chance and getting several in. Drew going for the stripes here. Overcut that one. One of Drew's other issues is the tendency to really overhit stuff. He doesn't do a lot of soft shots. He'll do them, and when he does them great. But if he's at all unsure of how things are going to go, he'll just nail it. Julian got a nice shot on the 5 here. Long shot, but it should get him onto the 3 if he holds it up or puts a little draw on it. And he goes with follow. Not really sure where he was planning on trying to go after for his second shot if that had gone in. Possibly for the 4 into the side. Drew gets really lucky on that one and gets 2 in on that shot, but leaves himself with this 12 ball partially covered by the 8 and manages to draw it out of there. Not a real great shot on the 3 here for Julian. I'd probably go for one of the side pockets, mainly because the tangent line of the cue ball, if it goes, should put you on to either the 4 or the 5. I think he's got the 3 ball a little bit in the way for the 12, which means that'll be a likely scratch shot for Drew if he just goes for it straight. Gets a timeout from Pedro. I will say this, that Drew actually taking a timeout is an improvement. He's one of those players who doesn't like a timeout, feels like it breaks up his rhythm, and will ignore you and shrug you off if you try and give him one most of the time. So good job taking a timeout this time, Drew. Julian went for the side pocket there. Didn't get it. Would have had shape on the 4 had it gone, but and Drew's going to go for a defensive shot that really worked well for him. I'm not sure that goes by the 8. It's pretty close. Hard to tell from this angle. I think Julian is going to try and go by the 8 for the 3 anyway, but whew, that's really close. See if he can get enough of the 3 ball to get it into the side pocket. I don't think he can. Kind of jacking up on it a little bit, hitting it with low right. He still hits it pretty full, winds up with a scratch. I'll be ball in hand for Drew. I'd go the other direction here, mainly because if you rested on the short rail and go for that, you could wind up with great shape on the 8 ball. He didn't do too bad getting onto the 8 ball, but he didn't get the 12 in. So gonna give Julian another shot at this. And overcut again. Having a hard time with the angle there. It should be a pretty easy shot. He overhits it again. He's going to get lucky and get the 4 ball. Well, the 4 ball. Well, it went all the way in, so he got it out of his way. I wouldn't want to have tried to count on that happening if I'd planned that shot. That'll give the first rack to Drew, though. Okay, you got at least one in. Yep, these solids. It's not a bad layout. The 4-ball where it is, not great, but you can easily get to the correct side of it to get that in. The 5-ball, I mean, most of the solids are pretty close to the rail, but everything's spread out enough that it really wouldn't be too much trouble to get around and get everything. Oh, bit of a defensive shot there from Drew. The stripes are a little bit better positioned as far as things go, with being away from the rails, not really clustered up at all. The only one, the 11, or no, that's the 13 there by the 8-ball. That could be a little bit of trouble. If the 8-ball wasn't there, this would be easy run out for most 5s and 6s. Well, Drew's got the 5-ball down here. Looks like he should be able to get by the 9-ball. Yeah, he's going to go for the 7. I don't think he really had any plan other than the 5-ball there, based on the way how hard he hit it. Go for the bank on the 6. Gets that, no problem. And Drew's already on the hill, and he's just about out with this one. It's a little bit off on that angle for the 4, or he would have been onto the 8, but the 8-ball wouldn't go anywhere from where he's got a position to shoot at it. I like going for the 9 here and gently, so I have a shot of the 14 that might get me to bump the 13 out of there. And that works as well. I'm still looking at the 14 as that's actually not a bad position to be taking a shot of the 13 here. You could do a defensive shot and put things into cue ball on the rail and 13 out of the hole there. You're gonna go ahead and bank this. That's pretty good at banks. He's got some good skills for just straight on in shots. And like I said, it's more of his plan. You know, he relies more on luck, and he's going to have a shot after he takes the shot without having to plan for it. Really kind of the big thing holding Drew back. Julian clearing off one end of the table. Go for the 9. He's going to not want to hit this with too much speed in order to stay down there for the 14 and the 13. That works. That's about exactly what I was thinking of doing there. A little bit of right on this hit on the 14 should bump that 13. Hopefully get both balls clear. Oh, he misses the 14 completely. Wow. I did not see that coming. I've done that. I've made that exact same mistake. It's awful straight in on this one. Again, not really planning for what's going to happen next. And what happened next was a scratch. So Julian will get ball in hand with the 13 and the 14 now. No real obstacles to getting them both in, other than, you know, making sure you start with the correct one so that you have a good shot on the next one. I'd go 13 and then 14 here. He's really kind of thinking about which way to go about this. There's definitely a wrong way to go about doing this right now. And he's going to get a timeout for Jonathan. And finally, the AI is going to pick something up that's useful. Basically explaining to him, just hit this nice and light and leave yourself with a good shot on the 13. So 13 in, nice and easy. 14 in, a little bit of ride on it, brings it right on up for the 8 ball. Looks like he's going for a little bit on the top. Beautiful. And not marking the pocket, but calling it out. Drew's one of those guys that does that all the time. He's very, very old school pool hall player. Marking it up is the way to go. Do not want to get in that situation where somebody goes, hey, you didn't mark your pocket, so you lose your rack. There is nothing in the APA rulebook that says that you can make an agreement with your opponent to just call it. It very strictly states that you must mark your pocket. And while on an ordinary league night, people generally won't give you a lot of trouble for it, and they'll let it go. Not every time. Sometimes I've seen it on league night where people will say, hey, you didn't mark your pocket, you lost your rack. Just don't take chances. It's just not worth it. Julian working with solids again. Once again, a nice layout. Everything fairly well spread out. The 9 and 12 there kind of tied up, but nothing else that looks like overly problematic. He's going to go for the 2 ball. And 9 ball went down to the short rail, came right back and parked itself right where it was. Drew's got a nice long shot down the rail with the 15 here. And he gets it off the 9 and the 14, which broke the 12 out a little bit. He's got a good angle for the 11 up into the corner here. Julian, unfortunately, kind of standing in the way for one corner of the table. Drew tries to combo that one. 12-14. Doesn't go for him, though. One ball should be pretty easy into the side there. I kind of feel like going after that's a good idea because it just got a couple of shots that would be pretty easy afterwards. Okay, puts himself on either the 7 into the side or the 4 up into the corner. I think I'd take the 4 right now. this end of the table, and the 6 and 10 are kind of tied up, and the 2 and the 14. A little too much cluster going on down there to get easy shots. And nice try on the 4 that time. And he leaves it without giving anything easy to Drew to work with. Might be able to go by the 5 there for that 13 ball in the corner next to the 8. I think the 5 ball is just a little too close to the path, though. Easy option is just to shoot into the cluster here and get yourself a defensive shot, break things up. Oh, he hits that way too light, but he manages to get away with it. 12 ball hits the rail. Didn't think that was gonna go. Five ball all the way up into the 4 is what I see for a good shot here. Gonna go for the 2 all the way up. Nope. The 2 ball's not gonna get in the way of anything down here either, so that leaves Drew with some easy ones. Of all the ones he takes the hardest one of the bunch, which is actually not a bad idea. 14 in the 9. 13's a good next choice. Should easily put him onto the 12. But then he's just got to worry about putting the 10 away somewhere. And he's going to try and cut the 12? No. Makes no sense to try and cut the 12 there. Hit that way harder than he needed to, and didn't really leave himself a good next shot. Try and bank the 10 right there. He's going to try and cut this 12 in. Oh, it just kind of hangs in the pocket. Well, Julian gets another try at things. Forgot to give Julian the point for his rack. Alright, let's get the 4 in here. He needs to come all the way down to the other end of the table, or to get on that 5 and 2. And he bumps into the 5. Not bad. Not bad at all. He can stop shot that 5 all the way up into the corner. He's got a great position on the 2. Let's see what he goes for here. There you go. Almost didn't really stop shot it, but 5's out of the way. I have to try and bank this 2 ball now. I'd almost cut it into the 12 and leave the cue ball on the short rail. Maybe a little bit to this side of the table. Make it difficult for Drew with his next shot. He didn't do that at all. Did put the 14 in. Or excuse me, the 12 in. No, Drew's got a bank shot on the 10 here. If he makes that, he ought to be in good shape on the 8. There it is. And there we go. That'll end that matchup. Drew will win 2-1. That's going to give Pool Party 2 more points. So they are now in the lead 4-3 for this week's match. We'll be back in a little while with the next matchup. Again, give us a like and subscribe. Leave us some comments. It really helps the algorithm, lets people know we're here. And if you enjoy watching our matches and everything, share the match with somebody. So hope to see you in a pool hall someday.